Hello everyone, it's Attack-Simility here, and for today, hey guys, I'm back. I know I haven't really made a video in about a week. I know I don't usually take breaks and all, but last week it was pretty rough for me. I actually had to take a break for once from making videos and all. Things were pretty rough for me in real life, but now I'm back. I decided to make this video today, and for today's video, we are going to be reviewing the latest entry to the Fire Emblem franchise, Fire Emblem Engage. Now, I bought this game last week. I played it for almost for a week by this point, and so far I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm still progressing through the story, and there's a lot of things I have to say as I'm taking my sweet time on this, but that's a good thing because even though I've only gotten halfway through the game, there's still a lot I can talk about into this review. So for today's review on Fire Emblem Engage, I'm going to be talking about and reviewing from these aspects and points from the story, the characters, music, and gameplay. There's a lot I have to say about Fire Emblem Engage, and so with that, let's not waste time, let's get straight into it. Now, Fire Emblem Engage is the 17th installment to the Fire Emblem franchise, and with the game itself, I do find it funny looking at the box art and its presentation. Presentation-wise, when you see the box art and even the artwork for Engage, it feels so weird to see this after looking back at Three Houses, because despite the three primary colors into Three Houses box art and artwork, some of them are really dark and gives out a dark feeling and gives you sort of an atmosphere that things are going to go very badly. For Engage, I find it funny how we got such colorful colors from the main character to the four lords, and especially Mart itself, along with the contrast with the black and white dragon and all overall. So presentation-wise, it is really funny to look at. And I remember back then when, about last year, I remember the leak from Emily Rogers, which I've talked about before in the past, which stated that, there was going to be a new Fire Emblem game, which is basically a new story, and stating that the main character is also not only just has a sort of dragon genes, but also blue and red hair. And when I first heard about that, I thought it was kind of okay, but I thought it was kind of weird, but then when we saw the actual reveal, I didn't expect the character to look like this, honestly. I'm so used to characters to have either red, possibly blue, and sometimes white hair. I didn't expect the main protagonist to look like Colgate and Coca-Cola. Yeah, I'm one of those people that call them that because at that point, I've seen many people call him the character like that. So presentation-wise, I do really find it hilarious how we went from a dark, gritty color with the three primary colors on top of Three Houses to a full-on many color schemes. So that's pretty much all I can say about presentation-wise. What about the story? So from what I can tell from the story so far, I won't spoil anything else, but all I can say is that this story is about the main character, Alear, which will be your new playable, customizable protagonist that has been a thing since Awakening. There, like I said, the character's design is obviously off when it comes to the blue and red hair, and basically they are the child of the dragon Lumera. That's all I can truly say about it so far, but after about 1,000 years, Alear basically fell asleep for a long time, and as soon as they woke up, they basically went to a new world, along with meeting a few new characters. But apparently, the Fell Dragon, which is from what I can tell the main antagonist of this game, is pretty much, trying to be resurrected right now, and yeah, that's pretty much this whole story. Yep, unlike Fire Emblem Fates and Fire Emblem Three Houses, this game follows a simple one straight story. So you just pretty much go into a straightforward story, and that's really about it. No alternate paths or endings, but even though it sounds pretty basic, I do think it's a bit refreshing after going through a lot of paths. As much as I love Three Houses, going into a more straightforward story is pretty great, though I do find some of its plot points a bit too basic and cliche, but that's really not that bad, as I am still having a bit of fun for this. Like I said, I won't spoil that much, but yeah, that's really all I can say about the story. It's about a 7 out of 10 for me. Now, there's also the characters. Aside from the Divine Dragon Alear, there's a lot of characters that are pretty cool, but there's some that I find either okay or just flat out annoying. Yeah, those characters being Fram, for example. Here's the thing, though, is that as much as I like some of these characters, I feel like some of them are a bit too what's the word? Overly designed and detailed. Now, I know Fire Emblem is all about that detail. They're known for having one of the most detailed design characters in the entire franchise, and I can totally understand it. I love detail as well, but something about Engage's character designs feels so detailed that I can't really tell whether I like them or not. Aaliyah is a bit of an exception, because like I said, when we first saw Aaliyah's character design, and especially with the really bad hair color, I did get used to it after about a few weeks, and Aaliyah is pretty great. Not only that, the main character itself really talks way more than the last protagonist, being Violet. No, I'm not counting Violet's talking role in Three Hopes. I'm more talking about like the big mainline franchise and all. But I am a fan of a few of these characters, such as Diamond and Alfred, and I do really find it pretty cool to see some of these characters. I'm just not a fan of how very overly designed it is, and I do love some of their personalities as well. So yeah, characters, while I do find some of them really okay and overly detailed in terms of designs, I do love some of their story and personalities that is, mixed into it. That, funny enough, is that this was made by a VTuber, from what I can presume. I think it was Mika Pisano, if I pronounce it right. I apologize if I did. So I can kind of see why some would claim the main character that pretty much looks like a VTuber itself. Now, what about the gameplay? Well, the gameplay is like with every other Fire Emblem game. It is a tactical RPG where, depending on where you move, you basically can, move anywhere you want. Make sure you strategize your plans and all, and also make sure you heal your allies, or else your opponents may, annihilate your party members and all. And not only that, just like with the past Fire Emblem games, you get to choose any type of option, whether you want to play the game casually and not let every member of any type of member in your party die permanently, or you can basically, do it the hard way and basically go into hardcore and, make the game a bit more harder on yourself by making your allies dying permanently, so you can pretty much, cry afterwards. I have to go with the casual ones because I really just don't want to deal with losing my allies permanently. I just don't want to go through the pain of that. So yeah, it's pretty much typical Fire Emblem gameplay, but a new addition that was added into this game was none other than the Emblem Rings. Emblem Rings are sort of a brand new mechanic that is added for Engage, which features 12 Fire Emblem characters from the past installments now joining within you and basically synchronizing them to up boost your abilities and moves. And let's just say they are really powerful if you don't do them correctly, with some that have their own flaws. And the characters that I do have to mention that return from past Fire Emblem games, the ones that are really recognizable to, for those who played Smash Brothers, those characters being Mart, Roy, Ike, Lucina, Corin, and Violet. I do find it kind of funny how we got Lucina instead of Robin, and then there's also Corin, who is pretty much using the female design than the male design from Fates, which I do kind of find it funny as I do see some say that female Corin is basically canon to the Fate story, and finally Violet is also included in this, and like I said, Robin not being in this game, but Lucina is kind of really cool to me. But for those who really aren't aware about it, aren't aware of playing a Fire Emblem game at all, or any past Fire Emblem games, there's also 6 new ones for those newcomers. Those characters being Sigurd, Silica, Lyn. There's also Micaiah, Erika, and Leaf. Those are the 6 new Fire Emblem characters that were added for those who are newcomers, but dependent if you have the DLC pass, because there is an expansion pass for this game, there's also a few new ones. Those being the 3 house leaders, Edelgard, Dimitri, and Claude from 3 houses, and also Tiki, which, I expected Fire Emblem Engage to get a DLC pass already when it was announced last month. I didn't really think it'd be sooner though, and it was released on the same day as the game launched. There's currently 4 waves at the moment, the first one already out right now, and from what I can see from gameplay aspects, it looks like that the 3 house leaders are very overpowered overall. So this is basically just the typical gameplay. Another thing is just like 3 houses, we also got a hub world just in case, that being the Somniel, which will be your hub world, and it's just like Garrick Monastery, where you can do a few things. First off, you can obviously dine to get to know your allies, and when you recruit them automatically, they'll join they'll join your party. But there are a few paralog stories where you can get a few allies, recruited from those said story modes. So that's pretty cool in my opinion. Another thing is that unlike Fire Emblem Free Houses, this game basically, like I said, is straightforward in terms of story, but there's also skirmishes or training, which can either get a lot of gold from many opponents, or you can train your allies and other party members to go level up into max level. And another thing to even mention is that there's now an official world map, so you don't really have to go through, go play the entire story again for the sake of, progress and all. So that's a really nice thing. Like I said, you can also do dining to get to know your allies better, and technically returning from free houses is the arena, where you can basically level up any of your party members and also get to know their supports, which actually is a part of this game now, just like from the past Fire Emblem games. This one basically consists of support, whether you fight with them alongside them in battle, give them gifts, and like I said, dine in. And that's pretty cool and all, and just like with free houses, you can basically do S-rank supports depending on which protagonist it would be, whether the male Aleer or female Aleer. So yeah, we got more aspects from Three Houses returning, but there are a few new gameplay modes into this. First off is the fact that you can basically not only reminisce in past events, which you cannot do in the menu anymore, you can basically do that whenever you're resting in the bed, and the bed itself can actually bring in some allies to wake you up, which I do find it a nice addition. I do find some of it annoying though, but I do enjoy seeing characters waking up the main protagonist. Another thing to mention is that you can also befriend and have on a friendship with this brand new sort of pet-like character by the name of Sami, but you can name but you can name it anything you want, but its default name is Sami itself. You can basically feed it, pet it, and also take it around walks, so it's your typical pet-in simulator overall. I do find Sami cute, but I felt it looks weirdly out of place. Then again, I don't know what I can say, given that Fire Emblem itself is an RPG franchise. And last but not least, adding into the whole Fire Emblem Engage gameplay, you can also work out, and also return is also efficient, but working out can basically boost your stats and also get you a lot of rewards. You can basically work out by yourself, or you can do it with Sami if you want to. So gameplay, I do love some of the new additions. I love how it gives out some old aspects while also bringing in some new gameplay mechanics to keep the game fresh. So that's my review for Fire Emblem Engage. So overall, is this game really worth it? Well, for the pros and cons. For the pros, the gameplay itself is fun as usual, along with some new gameplay mechanics into the hub world. There's also the story, while straightforward, is pretty intriguing as time goes on, and some characters are really well designed and also, great fun and personality, and it's also voice acted. The cons, though, is that first of all, I do find that I do kind of hate waiting a day in order to get some skirmishes, because like I said, I'm currently taking my sweet time in order to not complete the story as quick as possible. I want to get to know all the characters as soon as possible, and not only that, I just do think that some of the characters are weirdly over-designed in my opinion, but this game is pretty much worth it if you're an RPG fan, or if you don't want to play a Fire Emblem game at all, then you can just not get it afterwards. I am excited to see what else the DLC has to offer. I will surely come back and sort of cover it in sort of a news video, but I want to know all your thoughts and opinions down below about this. Do you think Fire Emblem Engage is one of your favorite Fire Emblem games? And let me know what your opinions and thoughts are down below. I'm back after a week. I promise to make more videos for like about another couple days and all, but I hope you all enjoyed this video. And so with that, leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell for more videos, follow my Twitter, and I'll see you guys next time. And remember this, once a legend, always a legend.